Hi everybody, my name is Jeffrey Donenfeld, and I'm going to be talking to you in front of the projector about my time living and working in Antarctica, as well as my adventure getting down to the ice. So a little bit of background on myself. I'm originally from Cincinnati, Ohio, and Donenfeld, Colorado. Went to the University of Colorado at Boulder, and for the last 9 years I lived in New York City, working in the interactive media. Interactive media in the city it was a great career, and it gave me access to a lot of different parts of the city, and I truly loved it. But a couple of years ago, about 5 years ago, I was sitting at my desk and I decided I had to get out. I wanted to get out of the city, and so I was thinking, what's the craziest, most awesome thing that I can do? Let's go live in Antarctica. And so I'm going to tell you about my adventure getting to Antarctica, how I got there, and how you can get there yourself. Right now, just a little more background. I'm running an adventure travel consulting agency called 4 North. We consult with individuals, groups, as well as government teams and science teams on adventuring to the extreme parts of the Earth. So I said to myself, how far can I go? What is my ultimate dream? And I had this thing in my head. I love the winter, I love the snow. Let's go live in Antarctica, but I don't want to just live there and go there as a tourist. I would love to go there and actually live there and be a part of the culture and make that my home. I had no idea how to do it. Didn't even know there was a base or anything there or anybody there, so I started by putting it into Wikipedia initially. It took me 4.5 years, and I basically put everything I could into it. I willed it into existence. It was an almost impossible task, but I made it happen. I spent 4.5 years applying for about 45 positions per year, doing anything I could possibly do. Working for science teams, anything I could do. I just wanted to get down there and make it a thing for myself. I applied for everything. And the interesting thing about Antarctica with the government operations is there's so many different positions that there's everything. There's like lead baker, recreation coordinator even. It's incredible. To make myself a better candidate for all of these jobs, I did all sorts of training and certifications, which was half the fun. This picture here is taken in the middle of the biggest snowstorm in the last 30 years, in the middle of Bridger Teton National Forest, up in Wyoming, and we had been telemarking and hauling 100-pound sleds for a month out of the backcountry, and got caught in this super huge storm. I became wilderness emergency medical technician certified, became rescue diver certified, did all sorts of interesting stuff. And finally, this was about 1.5 years ago, after applying and applying, I was down in Colorado, and I got a call from HR, and they said, hey, we know all your papers are in, are you ready to go? Like, can you deploy quickly? And I said, yeah. And they said, okay, we have a flight leaving out of Denver for you in 5 days, you're going to Antarctica. Oh my God, all right, I gotta get everything together. So in the car going back, I ordered a huge Amazon wish list of everything I ever wanted. Got it all shipped to my house. 5 days later, I departed. So this is my quick experience in Antarctica. From Denver, I flew through Los Angeles, and then through Sydney, Australia, and then all the way down to Christchurch, New Zealand. Christchurch, New Zealand is the home of the International Antarctic Center, and it's kind of the base of operations for all of the governmental organizations who run operations in Antarctica. At the International Antarctic Center, you go through ECW gear issue, extreme cold weather gear. That's where you're issued these red parkas that everybody has. And you'll notice on my parka there's a name tag. Everybody has the exact same jacket. And when you're bundled up in negative 50 degrees, no skin is showing at all, the only reason you can tell each other apart is because of that little name tag. It's very, very useful. When you're working for the government, I was working for the United States Antarctic Program through Lockheed Martin. You can turn me up, thank you. You fly with the Air Force. Operation Deep Freeze is the Air Force's air wing that flies down to Antarctica. And so this goes from Christchurch, New Zealand, down to McMurdo Station. It's a C-17 Globemaster 3. It's an incredible plane. They can put Abrams tanks on there. They can put all sorts of equipment. And for my flight, they had it hooked up for cargo and for passengers. Even just getting onto the plane and getting the flights down there was an amazing experience. This is just a quick video of getting into the C-17. You can see they slot pallets full of seats in there, and then you also sit along the walls along with all sorts of gear. This is what it looks like. It's about a 6-hour flight going across the ice. You get to fly over the Transantarctic Mountains. This is a huge mountain range, but it's covered by the polar ice cap, so you can only see the very tips of the mountains. So from McMurdo, from Christchurch you fly down to McMurdo, which is on Ross Island, right on the Ross Sea, on the coast. You get onto the airplane on the tarmac, but when you get off, you're getting off onto the Pegasus ice runway, which is actually frozen sea ice that's frozen thick enough that they can land jets on it. It's a fairly incredible experience, and looming in the background is Mount Erebus, one of the 7 summits. From there, you get transported into McMurdo. I didn't live at McMurdo, I only transited through, but McMurdo is big. It's 1,500 people in the summer, and it's home to most of the Antarctic operations for the U.S. government. This is me up on Observation Hill. If you've ever seen the hill with there's a big cross on it, that's Observation Hill. Looking down into McMurdo to all the fuel caches and dorms, and there's even a couple bars down there. It's an interesting experience. Let's see, from McMurdo, you hop on an LC-130 Hercules. This is a C-130 specially adapted with skis down there so that you can take off on the ice and land on the ice. Much smaller cargo plane, but still it's a super cool plane. It's a prop plane, and you fly from McMurdo down to the Emerson Scott South Pole Station. This is at the geographic south pole of the Earth. It's laid out 24/7 there. The sun never sets, it just kind of circles. The average temperature is around -40 degrees. And it's really an incredible experience to be there. Getting onto the airplane in McMurdo was 30 degrees, it was about freezing, it was such an okay temperature. Getting off this airplane, the plane doesn't shut off, they just feathered the propellers, so they're not making any thrust, but the engines are on, and you get out onto the polar ice cap, and it's about -40, that first breath of air. It's quite a shock, and there's no terrain, it's just ice for 800 miles as far as you can see, and this frozen polar station. It's a pretty incredible experience, and it's a lot of fun. I was very excited. Fulfillment of a long dream, you know? But it was great to be on the station. A few quick stats on the Emerson Scott South Pole Station. This is an American station. It's staffed by mostly Americans, but it hosts international scientists from around the world. I mean, you know, we're supporting science from all around the world. It was built for $153 million. It's about 80,000 square feet, dedicated in 2008. Before the Emerson Scott South Pole Station, you might have seen this in pictures, there was a dome built by the Air Force that had shipping containers underneath it that they lived in. And before that was Old Pole, which is an even older station that's now buried under the ice and has been blown up since then. But the current station consists of one main truss and then 4 different wings. 150 of us in the summer, only 50 in the winter. Here's a quick view from the roof of the station. You can see that you've got the station, but nothing else. Up here, these are supply berms. Over there, this is actually the site of the old dome, and under here you can see that's the exhaust from the power plant, which is underneath the ice. This is a quick shot of the station crew. There's 150 of us, and I wanted to include this picture because it highlights an interesting engineering feature of the station. You'll notice that the station is a rectangle, but there's this cut here on the edge. This is actually the upwind side of the station. The wind comes from this way. And so what this cut does is it effectively compresses the air as the wind hits it and speeds it up as it goes under the station, making kind of a jet engine or a wing effect, so that the sped up air sweeps out all the snow and ice from under the station. That way the station doesn't get buried by the snow and ice. It's so simple, and it's incredibly effective. We still have to bulldoze a little bit, but it's a pretty good system. Also in this picture, in the background, this is the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration's Atmospheric Research Observatory, which this probe, you can barely see, samples the cleanest air in the world. Kind of a cool place to be. Quick picture at the geographic South Pole. This is the axis of the Earth, and this is the ceremonial South Pole. I'm going to go through this a little bit quickly. I had a bunch of jobs on the station. My primary job was I was the breakfast cook. I single-handedly created a cooked breakfast for 150 people every morning, and then made short orders throughout the service. I'm an EMT, and so I worked in the medical clinic. I was the press correspondent for the Associated Press and National Science Foundation. I was also the station tour guide, so when you come down to the South Pole to take a tour, someone like me will give you a tour there. And then I also helped a number of the science teams build a neutrino telescope and a microwave telescope. A lot of fun. Everyone has their own room. This is what my room looked like. It's small but comfortable. We have internet at the station. This is the golf ball, the radomes protecting the NASA Teacher satellite link. That's what that satellite looks like. We share our link with the International Space Station and the Hubble Space Telescope for data relays. We can't use Facebook. It's actually prioritized on the bandwidth. It's still pretty slow. The medical clinic I worked in, full trauma center, dental center, 2 ward beds. This is our gym. Play basketball and have all sorts of events in there. We work hard, we also play hard. You have to have a little recreation because it's kind of stressful living there. We have a pool table, dartboard, a bar. We have a greenhouse where we grow vegetables. It's kind of a NASA test greenhouse. This is one of the sections underneath the station. This is into the ice tunnel, so under the station there's a corridor of ice tunnels about 50 feet under the station at a constant negative 60 degrees. Houses all the service and supply conduits for water, outfall, electricity, and everything. It's very, very cold. It's a little scary being down there, but definitely an interesting area. There's me holding a thermometer at negative 60 and then exiting the ice tunnels. Getting to work in the morning, if you work at one of the 3 sites, just bundle up and walk across the ice. You have to have all of your skin covered, but you will make it. One of the science experiments I worked on, this is the South Pole Telescope looking at the cosmic microwave background radiation. And this is inside the lab where we have all sorts of lab test equipment. We even have a clean room. I'm going to finish real quick. Making it through this. This is one of the science sites that I worked on. This is the Ascarian radio array drill rig. And the other fun thing that I did is I became the 12th person in the world to run the South Pole Marathon. Now my fastest time took me 5 hours, 41 minutes, but I did it all 26 miles. As a tourist, this is my last couple points here. As a tourist, you can go to the South Pole too. You fly a Twin Otter or a DC-3 Basler, get to take your picture at the South Pole, which is a pretty incredible experience. It's not inexpensive, but there's a couple different ways you can go there. You can go through 3 main ways to go to the South Pole yourself. So first of all, you can go to the South Pole on a flight. It costs about $45,000. It's a 7-day trip. You get to take your picture at the South Pole. I'm good friends with the guys at Adventure Network International. There's a bunch of different companies that'll do it. Secondly, there's lots of climbing expeditions all over Antarctica. You can go climb Mount Vinson, Mount Sidley, which is a volcano. Go with Adventure Network International. There's a bunch of other different companies that do it. It's an incredible adventure to go climbing Antarctica. Finally, the way most people do it, in kind of the most comfortable way, is by going with a ship. So Lindblad expeditions, Quark expeditions, a number of others. It's not quite as expensive. You still get to the Antarctic Peninsula, and it'll be an incredible journey. You go see penguins and all sorts of whales and wildlife, and get to walk around on the ice. So there you go. If you have any questions, let me know. And thank you for your time.
Two very quick service announcements. The patio is still open. It's speaking